Hello, Canucks fans, and welcome back to an episode of Canucks Conversation brought to you by Bet365. We are coming to you from the Pacific Toyota Dealer Studios. Visit shoptoyota.ca, your local Pacific Toyota dealer. Today, my name is Dave Gugelli. I am joined by Harman Dial. We've got a very special guest today. We're so excited to chat with him. Max Lapierre is on the show today. We've got a Canucks game to talk about. Max is joining the show. The chat's bumping early. We're going to get to a lot today. It's going to be a good day. It's going to be a good show. Harm, how much did it snow by you today?
I saw a little bit in the morning. Thankfully, none of it stuck because my car is rear wheel drive and basically useless in the snow. So we're good for now. Thankfully, because it didn't stick.
It's stuck up here, I'll tell you that. It's stuck. It's stuck over here. But I got all-wheel drive and I got the SUV, so I'll be okay. Heading to Burnaby tonight, so I'll be all right. All right, let's not waste any more time. Let's get to our opening segment, which is a presentation of our friends over at Greta. A great spot for all games, home and away. You can skip the line and not have to pay cover on game nights for wearing the home team's gear. And of course, there's also the game day specials at Greta, including $3.33 off select food items, $3.33 for select drinks, and more with the arcade, bar, and street food menu. Greta's a great spot. Make it your spot to watch the next game. We're talking about a draft lottery show, like a full live stream. The plan is in motion, folks. So you're going to come hang out with us at Greta. Watch us do the show live. We're going to do a live stream if you can't get to Greta. So you'll have a lot of options for the draft lottery, and hopefully it goes better than our Tankathon exercises do around these parts. All right, Canucks lose 2-0 to the Ottawa Senators. Harm, my title and instant reaction, my main takeaway from that game was Zeev Buium looked pretty damn good. Really liked him transporting the puck. Really liked what I saw from him wheeling out of the zone under pressure. Like, that Ottawa forecheck is pretty heavy, and he did a really good job under that pressure of just wheeling it out, kind of maneuvering his way through the neutral zone. Really liked what I saw, especially in the first 40 minutes from Zeev Buium.
Yeah, I think the longer that we've had a chance to watch him with the Canucks, we're developing an understanding of, even as a puck mover, where his strengths, and I don't even necessarily want to call them weaknesses because he's only a 20-year-old rookie, but areas for him to improve are. And it's pretty similar to the themes I noticed when watching him in Minnesota, where when he's got an opportunity to wheel it out, when he has the time and space to go, he is so confident. He doesn't think twice. And it's not just carrying it out for an exit. He wants to keep transporting it through the neutral zone, in for an entry. He's ambitious with the plays he's looking for. And you just love to see that level of ambition, of explosiveness out of the gate in situations where, again, he has the space to carry it out. I think when I look big picture at Buium's development and how does he become an elite all-around puck mover, I think in that Sens game, specifically in the first period, you also saw other types of exits where, sure, there were opportunities where he wheeled it out and you're blown away that no other defenseman on this blue line can exit and carry the puck out like that. But there were other sequences where I think there's two areas he'll need to hone in on to eventually mature into an elite puck mover. Number one, there are still, I think, some defensive zone retrievals where if he doesn't have the obvious play of skating it out, he's a little bit slow to process where his options are, where his help is, and he's a touch slower to make decisions for where to send that next puck. And so there was a sequence where Ottawa was heavy in on the forecheck. He took a beat longer to hang on to the puck, survey his options, and then he was checked. And it resulted in a turnover. It wasn't a costly turnover. It didn't end up in the back of the net by any means, but that's an adjustment that he's continuing to make. And I think part of that is just the pace difference between the NCAA and the NHL. At the NCAA, you've got that extra half second to survey, whereas at the NHL level, you've kind of got to make all your shoulder checks to know where your outs are before you even touch the puck. So that's an area of progress that I'm going to be looking to monitor. And then the second part is the outlet passing ability. I think elite skating defensemen like Buium, give them a chance to carry it out, they're gone. However, some of the best forechecking teams in the NHL make it so that you don't have that opportunity to single-handedly wheel the puck out. And in those situations, you're going to need to be able to make great outlet passes. And that's where I'm going to bring up Quinn Hughes for a second, because Bouillon stylistically has kind of been described as a, if he hits, best case scenario, could he be a budget poor man's version of Quinn Hughes? As much as we would talk about Quinn Hughes' skating ability, I don't think we spoke enough about how he was probably the best outlet passing defense in the league as well, just with his vision and how many stretch passes would lead to breakaways or just cut through the first, second layer of forechecking pressure. That's an area where Bouillon, his exits where he's having to pass the puck, I think there's room for him to improve. But fully with you there. Was really encouraged by just how comfortable he looks carrying the puck up the ice. I thought I'd bring up the other points just to round out my observations about just his overall puck moving skill set so far.
Okay, there was a goal last night. It stood as the game-winning goal because it was a 2-0 win, and Brady Tkachuk scored the empty netter. The first goal, the puck goes off Shane Pinto's glove, and then it's buried on the rebound chance. Oh, rebound off Shane Pinto, and I totally misunderstood the rule because the Canucks challenged it, and I thought, well, he didn't intentionally glove that down. The letter of the law, and Adam Foote talked about this post game, and I honestly, I apologize. I got it wrong. I wrote instant reaction. I was like, why would they challenge that? That's crazy. He didn't mean to hit it with his glove. That's not the rule. I read up on the rule. That should have been reversed. Like, there was a play just like that in Tampa in December that I pulled up, and there was everyone had a meltdown over that one, and everybody talked about it, and I thought we were at a point where we all understood the rule. Well, I missed that meeting, but I thought we were at a point where the league understood the rule, and that was going to be how they applied it. Was, hey, if the puck goes off your glove, it's redirected, and your team gains any advantage. Like, that's the verbiage, right? Is your team gains an advantage. Well, how about scoring a goal? Like, that seems like a pretty big advantage from a puck hitting a glove. And then Adam Foote said that the referee went over and said, oh, well, he was protecting his face. And Adam Foote, post-game, kind of said, like, well, that's not the rule. And I looked like that is not the rule. It was just applied totally incorrectly there. And the Canucks should be furious. Well, not furious, but they should be upset because they got it right. Like, the video coaches got that right. Adam Foote got that right. And for whatever reason, it was just the wrong call.
Yeah, fully agree there. And key is the gaining an advantage part where, you understand the Ottawa player sort of throwing his hands up to protect his face. But the issue is the motion through which he was kind of swinging his arms propelled the puck exactly where it needed to be to lead to the goal.
Yeah.
So if that isn't the textbook example or definition of gaining an advantage from a puck bouncing off a hand, I don't know what is. At least this is a low stakes game where it doesn't really matter, because if the Canucks were in a playoff race and this was an important 2 points they needed, you're right, it would have been a much bigger controversy.
We'd probably spend more than 2 minutes talking about it, but we're not going to. All right, we'll talk about more with the game later on, but I want to get to today's guest. Max Lapierre joins us. He's a presentation of our friends over at Tim Hortons. Roll-up season is officially back. You can still play on the cup while supplies last, but don't forget to also play on the Tim's app, which means more chances to win just for doing what you already do. Get Tim's. There's a wide range of prizes to be won. There's gift cards for various brands to physical 5-burner barbecues. That's what I'm hoping to win. That's why I keep bringing it up. Roll-up season is only around until March 22nd, so don't wait until it's over to realize that you forgot to play. For more info, check out timhortons.ca/rollup. Roll up to win only at Tim's. All right, very pleased to be joined now. Max Lapierre joins us now. Max, you're launching a new podcast. You're joining us in the podcasting world. We understand that you've been keeping busy in retirement. First of all, thanks for joining us. And second, tell us all about this podcast.
Well, guys, thanks for having me on the show. We just love hockey, right? As many show as we can every week, whatever it's the Canucks, the Canadians. It's just always fun to speak and talk about hockey. I've been doing it in French for the last 7 seasons. Obviously, La Poche Bleue, it's called. We started this with Guillaume Latendresse, but now we feel like we need a new challenge. So tomorrow night we're starting in English. We're gonna have an English post game, and I think it's fun to speak right after the game when you have emotions and you're mad or you're happy and you're overwhelmed. So I feel like we're gonna have a good show. And starting tomorrow, we're one of my ex teammates with the Canucks is going to be there with me. Kevin Bieksa. I'm going to be with Pascal Leclerc, former goaltender for the Columbus Blue Jackets. Matthew Dandino, PK Subban, Scott Gomez, JS Giguère, Rick Nash. So it's a big party for the first show.
Oh, what a lineup! What a lineup, Max.
I'm
gotta
still on
ask
the
you-
fourth line, guys. Can you believe it?
I gotta ask you about that lineup. Like when you're going through, obviously your Rolodex is huge with how many ex teammates you've had. Obviously, a well-liked guy in every locker room you played in. How do you pick who's coming on your show? Like obviously BX is probably an easy decision. Guy does a lot of media, but like how do you go through? Did you make a bunch of calls? Like how was that process like for you?
I always try to have a feel for what's coming next during the week. Like, for example, the show tomorrow, we're playing against Ottawa. So I wanted to start with an X-Hab with PK and with Scotty Gomez. And then we like Rick Nash because the Blue Jackets are right behind us in the standings. They're chasing a playoff spot. I'm trying to go with a little bit of a feel for the game. Matthew Darch is going to be there as well. The Islanders are right in front of us. So just try to go with what is hot during that week.
That's awesome. We'll definitely be tuning in because Montreal, I mean, one of the funnest, most exciting teams in the league this year. Entertaining to watch every night. To bring it back to your career, I wanted to ask you, you obviously became a fan favorite in the city during the Canucks 2011 run, especially after you scored that Game 5 winner. I was talking to Quads the other day. I remember exactly where I was as a 10, 11-year-old kid when you scored that game, just screaming on the top of my lungs. Obviously the Game 7 ending was a bit heartbreaking, but when you look back on that run as a whole, do you have any stories or favorite moments to share?
Well, so many. First, I want to start with how great this group was. You know, like every single player on this team was a leader. They made me feel like I was part of a family. The first day I walked in with my bag, my sticks inside of the dressing room. It was a tough year for me because I got traded from Montreal to Anaheim right before, right? So within 4 months, I played for 3 teams, and it was a tough spot in my career. But as soon as you talk with like guys like Bieksa, the Sedins, like Burrows, like Mason Raymond, Luongo, these guys are great guys. You know, they made me feel like, hey man, you're a good hockey player. Like it doesn't matter if you had a tough stretch. Now you're gonna be part of the group, and we need you. So it was a quick turnaround with obviously Alain Vigneault, who was my coach in juniors. So it was familiar for me to play for a coach that likes me, you know, and then for me, guys, like everyone talks to me about the Stanley Cup and all that, but looking back in my career, yes, it was really tough to lose Game 7 at home. But I built my family there. I met my wife in Vancouver. We have kids now. Like I did, you know, everything happens for a reason. And I went there. It was tough on the hockey side, but I would have never probably built this family if I didn't play in Vancouver and lost that Game 7. So it's kind of mix of emotions. On the hockey part, it's tough. On the family part, it's great. But I grew a lot as a player as well to see how professional the guys on this team were, how respectful, how well mannered, how well trained. Every detail was so important, and I feel like it helped me in my career. Then I went to St. Louis, obviously after, but it really helped me as a player.
I know you mentioned a few different things there, but when you look at the Canucks in 2011, like when you joined them, again, you said you felt welcomed right away. What was it about the culture that made guys feel that way?
I think it's just that every role is important. I played on teams where superstars, they look at fourth liner and it's like you're on their way. Like they don't really want to have a long discussion with you. The Sedins took it to another level on the opposite side. They would come to the fourth line after every game and say, thank you so much for what you're doing for the team. And we're lucky to have you. And you're so important. And you know, like the first time I was like looking at them like, are they kidding? Or like, are they joking around? And then you realize like they're just the best guys in the history of the NHL. What a duo. Like they're so good on the ice. But man, as humans, the Sedins, it's another level. Like I've never seen people like achieving so much off the ice as a superstar.
That 2011 team, what I remember, one of the things I remember most about it, sorry, is just how, like, as much as we adored the team in BC, you guys were hated around the rest of Canada and the rest of the league. And I remember as a Canucks fan at the time, almost liking the fact that, hey, everybody hates us because we got one of the best teams in the league. And I think obviously a lot of agitators, you were on that team, Burrows, Bieksa, other tough, hard to play against guys. How aware were you guys of this reputation of, hey, we're the villains? And did you relish sort of playing that role as a team?
I feel like there's so much attention on what happens after the whistles, and that's just like 1 minute of the game, you know, like you see it on every highlights and all of it, but and it's always bigger than it is. But I feel like at the end of the day, people didn't like us because we played the right way. Like the reality is, guys like Burrows, they were blocking shots. Guys were going to the net. They were hitting hard. They were taking a hit to make a play, and obviously with a little bit of chirping on the ice for sure, but they were good players, and this is why people hated us. And we didn't win. We're lucky we didn't win. They would have hated us to another level. But I feel like it's the same thing with Boston, right? Boston, nobody likes them, but because they play the right way, they have leadership, they play hard. Same thing with Florida in the last few years. Ask if people like the Florida Panthers, if they like Bennett, if they like Marchand. Like they don't like them. I feel like when you do the right thing on the ice, you cannot expect to make friends, because playing that way to win like they did, Boston and Florida, it takes another level of passion, and they bring it every night, these guys.
Who sets that? Who sets that standard for we're going to play the right way? Because obviously not every team plays the right way, right? So who sets that standard?
It's a good question. I think it starts with the management, the owners, the coaches. Like, do they tolerate 1% of not good enough? You know, and I feel like that was a difference in Vancouver. It was always brought like very positively. Like it was always like a nice discussion about who we are as a team and what we need to improve. It was never yelling at us, but it was always about our standards. And it wasn't acceptable to be 1% less the next day. You know, it was always perfect in practice, perfect during games. And this is what we were expecting from ourselves. And then your leadership group in the dressing room, like, and I was talking about all those great guys like in on the team. Like I forgot to mention probably one of the most important, Manny Malhotra, right? Like you watch these guys, and when you look everywhere in the dressing room and there's always somebody doing the right thing, you don't have a choice to follow. You don't have a choice to keep up with these guys, because then you're going to look like the clown of the group. You're going to look like the only guy that doesn't fit in there, and that's not a good feeling. So I feel like it starts, a lot of people think it starts in the dressing room. It's really important, but I think it starts with on top. Like, what do they expect from the players they bring in?
I wanted to follow up with what you mentioned with Manny there. I think a lot of people look back to him as one of the unsung heroes and unsung leaders of that group. And obviously Canucks fans now pay close attention to him because he is the head coach of Abbotsford. And I think some fans are maybe even hoping that he's the next head coach of the Vancouver Canucks.
I hope for you guys.
Yeah. What was it like being teammates with Manny, and are you at all surprised that he's already had this level of success as a head coach in pro hockey?
Just a student of the game, you know, like he wouldn't accept to just finish the game and go home. He would look at the clips. What could he improve? What could his line improve? There was always, you know, like some guys, they just arrive to the rink 2 hours before, they get dressed, they warm up, they're ready, they're focused, they play their game. But with Manny, it was always a good long discussion after morning skate to see what the plan is tonight, which face-off plays we're going to use, what are we going to do if your stick breaks in the defensive zone. Every single detail was discussed as a line, and then you would just go on the ice and everyone would be on the same page. It would take 15-20 minutes over a coffee, and then just that little thing would take you to the next level.
So you're describing Manny as a coach. There's other coaches in that room too. On that 2011 team, obviously Alex Burrows being another one. When you look at Manny and you look at the other guys that have found success elsewhere in the game, like, are you just kind of sitting there like, yeah, I could see that. Like as you were teammates with them in 2011, could you just see it the whole time that a guy like Manny was going to be a successful coach?
100%. for sure they were going to become coaches in the NHL. And it's funny because obviously I cover the Montreal Canadiens here, so my attention is a little more on their games. I always have a special place for the Canucks in my heart, and I'm always thinking in the back of my mind, I think at one point, and I don't want to disrespect anyone right now because everyone in the NHL, I think they belong in the NHL, and especially in Vancouver, like ex-players, they had great careers, so but at one point they're going to need to make some changes, and I feel like it's time to bring back those guys, like the guys that had really good performances on the ice as Canucks players that love the team, love the city, but they also have that special side in their mind that they see the game differently. They can coach, they can manage, they can see potential. I feel like if you would you would take the Fantastic Four, take them in a management role with coaches. I think the Canucks would be in really good hands.
The Canucks are obviously in a rebuilding stage now. Where a lot of people look at the Canadiens as a model rebuild with how quickly they've been able to ascend and have such a bright future. Watching the Canadiens closely over the last few years, what has worked for them that the Canucks can maybe learn from as far as their upcoming rebuild?
Or just patience. I mean, here in Montreal, the last few years, whatever it's Demidov, Slavkovsky, Caulfield when he arrived, Lane Hudson, when they were making a mistake on the ice, they don't just go and sit down for the rest of the game. They're there the next shift. They're there the next shift. Doesn't matter, -2, -3, as long as you have effort. Mistakes happen when you're young, and I feel like Marty St. Louis is the perfect coach for this. He's been through it. He was a player. He was a player like. He was a Hall of Famer, and he was a healthy scratch, a waiver player. So I feel like he can connect with and relate with everyone within the dressing room, and everyone respects him. So I feel like patience for first, and then the veteran players. Like, you're rebuilding, and you're not gonna get people for a big salary or for the future right now, but who your young players are gonna deal with on a daily basis for the next 2-3 years. These guys are super important. And here we had like guys like David Savard, Mike Madison. We had Brendan Gallagher that stayed here. Like, it was easy to try to get rid of him because he's at the end of his career and he's slowed down a little bit. But the reality is Brendan Gallagher is all heart and soul, respect for the logo, realizing what it means to play for the Montreal Canadiens. So you need to keep these guys around. You need good veterans, even if they accept that they're not going to have the same ice time, and they accept that maybe it's not their time now anymore, but they're just here to help the organization taking these kids in the right spot.
So there's a few things that I want to touch on there, because when it comes to the Canucks perspective on it, it's okay. Marty St. Louis, great coach, right? And a coach that's, helping develop these young guys. And yep. Cole, again, you're talking about a guy like Cole Caulfield, these youngsters that are making mistakes. Like, where is the line of you make too many mistakes that you start to develop bad habits, whereas you make a mistake, but it's a teaching moment instead? Like, how do you kind of apply that line as a coach?
I think it's always easy for me, and this is what I explain people that are following me on social media. So when we have discussions, is that sometimes people are asking me, why don't you judge the players the same way? Because I don't judge the play, I judge the intention. You know what I mean? Like, if you lose the puck, but your goal was trying to put the puck deep and change, it happens. If you lose the puck because you try to go through two guys with a toe drag at the blue line, it's not the same intention. So for me, this is where the line is. It's what was the plan? And is the plan repeating itself every single time? And how many chances can you get, right, as a player? Like, if you do it 5 times, it's the same mistake, then you need to send a message. But again, the message here always been positive. Always been like, hey, I think we should do it this way or that way. It's not like, you're bad, you're young, if you keep going, you're going to go in the minors. This is not how it happened here in Montreal.
Last one for me. You still obviously watch a lot of NHL games. I'm curious to get your perspective on how you think the league has changed on the ice and the way the game is played compared to when you were in the league 10 to 15 years ago.
I feel like it's all about speed and skills. But I would say the last 4 or 5 years, I feel like grit and physicality is back a little more because of, I think it all started in Florida, whatever it's Tampa Bay and the Panthers. I think even before they were champions, the rivalry between the two teams brought it to another level. And now you see like I feel like it's an hybrid right now, like of speed and the old time hockey. You just look at the Buffalo Sabres, what happened in the last few days. They went and got grit and toughness. And then one of the first games after the deadline, they played the Lightning, and it's just a circus, right? There's fights and goals, and it's fun to watch, guys. I mean, for me, hockey, the NHL, it's all about passion. If you take the passion out of the game, it's not the same thing anymore. And I feel like physical hockey brings the fans into it, and the NHL is special because of the fans. You can play for the Vancouver Canucks or the Montreal Canadiens. If there's nobody in the stands, it's not the NHL, right? It's the NHL is the fans. The full buildings and the passion and 21,000 people screaming and yelling and saying your name. This is what makes it special.
Just a total league-wide view, who's been your team that's kind of surprised you this year? Like maybe it's a team like Buffalo that's taken a step. Anaheim, obviously leading the Pacific right now. Is there a team that's just really surprised you this season?
Yeah, there's a few teams. I think Buffalo is really a surprise because they started the way this season that they've played in the last 15 years, and we were like, oh, here we go again. What a turnaround for them. I think they're a scary team right now to play against in the playoffs. One team in the East that surprises me every time I see them because of the pace they're playing at and the structure they have defensively is Detroit. I think Detroit is a sleeper, but they could be tough to face in the playoffs because like it's been a while we didn't talk about the Red Wings. Like, oh my God, they're so good. I think they're a good hockey team. And in the Western Conference, like, we're talking about surprises. Like every team, I think they're pretty good. But Utah, I think Utah plays with a lot of pace. They're fast. They're skating well. They have a good young team. I think like we're talking about rebuild. They're still young in Utah, and they're still competing hard. They have great coaching with André Tourigny. I think they have a good thing going with the new setup, the new practice facility. I think this is going to be a serious team in the next few years.
Max, taking it back to your Vancouver days real quick. How long did it take you to tell Hank and Danny apart?
They're brothers. No, it took a while. Like, I mean, the toughest thing with them is when they're not together, right? Because then you can't compare. So I remember one time after a game, I had a good game. Oh no, that's not true. One of them had a good game, like 4 points or something, and I was in the hot tub with one of them, and I'm like, I wanted to say great job, man, but I wasn't sure which one it was. So I just didn't say anything, but like I felt like saying, wow, 4 points, what a game, but I wasn't sure because when they're not together, it's tough to separate them.
All right, Max, I've got one quick thing for you here. So I'm sure you know how much people in Vancouver still love and appreciate you from your time playing for the Canucks, but I was at a Seattle Seahawks game a few years ago, and outside the stadium before the game, I came across this guy right here wearing his Maxim Lapierre Canucks jersey to a Seattle Seahawks football game. So I wanted to point this out to you that, and this was in 2023. So, over a decade on, there's still Canucks fans who proudly rock that jersey. So
special, so nice. And I always appreciated like people supporting me in my career. And obviously like this long after I retired, it's special to see it. And only thing I can say is thank you to the fans, right? And what a beautiful jersey, by the way. The colors, I always like the jersey in Vancouver.
Hey, people want us to ask you, and I don't know how we kind of glossed over it, but that Game 5 OT goal, what do you remember from it?
What a night. I remember I needed a bodyguard to go eat after the game.
Wow.
And I'm not joking. Like, I couldn't walk in the street. I had a tough time walking into the restaurant. I had the standing ovation every time I would go to the bathroom.
Wow.
Like guys, like for a fourth liner to score a goal that big, it's special. Like Hank and Danny probably lived it like after every game, but like people would stop me in the street and say, "You're gonna have your statue. It's the biggest goal in the history of the team." Like I was like, and then 4 days later, you lost. Like this is hockey. Like it's such like like a roller coaster, but I'll remember that my whole life. That's special. And like guys, for me, like when I left Montreal, obviously I'm a hometown kid here, and I always felt like people were behind me, and it was like, okay, this kid is from here, we're gonna support him. But when I got in Vancouver, and I basically I got the same treatment, it was special for me, because being somewhere so far, and I felt like the people were with me, supporting me. It made Vancouver special to me, and I feel like, I don't know if you remember, but I fought Theo Peckham in an exhibition game in Vancouver, and the crowd started chanting my name because they knew I was fighting a bigger guy. And in the middle of the fight, I was like, wow, like this is cool, man. This is special, and this is what I miss the most right now. Podcasting is fun, but it's not comparable to playing in Vancouver or Montreal.
Hey, our people in our chat today still love you. So hopefully they're in your chat tomorrow, Max, checking out your show as well. Thanks so much for doing this. We really appreciate it. And yeah, of course, we'll chat with you soon. And again, just appreciate you taking the time today.
Thanks for inviting me on the show. Keep it going, guys. You guys are awesome. You're doing a great job, and let's keep it up.
Cheers, Max. Thank you.
Have a good
there
one.
He is.
Max.
Max Lapierre. You can check him out and his new show, Hockey with an Accent, on YouTube tomorrow. And as he said, a big guest list. What a great guest list. Of course, we're going to be tuning in. And yeah, people in the chat, someone just jumped in and said, you're still a legend here. So I know Max is still listening to that. So don't worry. We got that message to Max. What a great time. That honestly, sometimes you get guests, no offense to J-Pat or Dave Hall, but sometimes you get guests that you just like, I felt like that interview could go on for another 30 minutes. You know what I mean? Like we could just sit there and talk hockey, because what a wealth of knowledge. Anyone really who played in the NHL, but just a guy willing to give his time and chat about his time in the NHL like Max is. We'll definitely have him back on the show. People are asking if we're going to have him back. We definitely will have Max.
Yes, his show's a Nation Network show. We're all in the same company, which means we can call Max up and have him back at any point, and it'll definitely happen.
So one day I wanted to be coworkers with Max up here, but I thought I'd have to learn how to skate to do that. Well, technically I do know how to skate now. Now I play, but my quad learns to play beer league journey. But yeah, coworkers with Max Lapierre. I'm putting that on my resume for sure. Huge thanks to Max. Any takeaways from that? Anything you want to mention, Harm?
I thought what he mentioned at the end after scoring the Game 5 OT winner, that he literally needed a bodyguard to get into restaurant, and anytime he stood up to go to the bathroom, he's getting a standing ovation. That's awesome.
Dude, I would be drinking so much water that night. Like, well, maybe not water, but I would be drinking a lot. I would be trying to go to the bathroom as much as I can if that was happening. People are asking for a skating update. That'll come soon. But yeah, what a good time.
And from a practical standpoint, I thought it was really interesting how he highlighted the patience part with the young guys, how Hudson would come in, Slavkovsky, and I think maybe less so with Hudson, because sure, I think the first 30 games there were some mistakes, but especially with some of the other young guys, nights where they were -2, -3 on the ice for a lot of goals against, mistakes. Yeah, Marty St. Louis kept rolling them back out and ensuring that their ice time wasn't cut, that they still had prime opportunities to be in high leverage offensive situations. I think that's an important takeaway, because moving forward, whoever the Canucks, even with the current crop, whether you talk about Zeev Bouillon, Tom Verlander, but also the Canucks draft a McKenna or Stenberg, you got to know that it's not always going to be smooth sailing. And even think about how many growing pains Connor Bedard had last year, where at some points he was getting criticized by national panels for some of his turnovers. That's going to happen. That's part of the learning process. And you had a great follow-up question on you don't want to let that go too far to where it develops bad habits, but you want to give them enough of a leash. And I also love Max's response to your follow-up question, that sometimes you don't want to get too fixated on the outcomes, but rather focus on the intention of plays and the intention when mistakes were made, and responding accordingly if you're a head coach.
Also really liked how he talked about how things start with management and the owners. I don't even mean that tongue in cheek or anything. Like the owner that he's talking about when the Canucks were great is the same owner that the Canucks have now, right? So I didn't even mean it like in a tongue in cheek way. I just think it's so interesting to hear a player, because a lot of times, especially in like the present day, like when you're in the moment, like you go down to the Canucks locker room, at least on the record, no one's going to start talking about management and ownership, right? They're going to say, oh, it's the guys in the room and everything. And he even said, like, as players, do you think it's the guys in the room? But as you kind of take that step back, that standard, that culture gets set by the guys up top. And again, the coaching staff as well. I think some really interesting perspective there from Max.
Yeah, one of the best, I think, interviews we've had all season. That was a ton of fun.
100%. 100%. Someone in the chat was making a point that we were asking him that stuff about habits, because I was curious. I'm like, Max, how do I, as someone who's learning to play, how do I not develop bad habits? Anyways, Jacob, book Max for the skills competition that we're going to do. Let's bring him out here. Fly him out.
Unfortunately, I think he'll be covering playoff hockey in Montreal. That'll be a little bit more important. But
well, we'll do it in like August. We need August content.
I guess I will offer it to Max Lapierre if he wants to come out and play hockey with us in Burnaby at some point in the off season. I can't guarantee anything, but hey, if he does want to come, then we will be more than happy to have him.
His wife's from here. Fly out the whole family.
There you go. Yeah.
Can you imagine an NHLer that Max is only 40, so he's not old, right? So a still fit former NHLer sharing the ice with a couple of guys that of our caliber.
Hey, we can learn a thing or two, man. We could learn. I think he'd win the skills competition. But
just a hunch.
Yeah, just a hunch. Anyways, all right. Let's get to anyone else, which is brought to you. Jake, who's anyone else brought to people by now? Is it Toyota?
I guess so. I mean,
do I have a new script?
Well, yes, you're supposed to have a new script.
All right.
Were you on the email?
I was on the email, but you know what? And it's funny because when I did my intro, I remembered to talk about it, but then I forgot. I forgot that they're back. We're very happy to welcome back Toyota. I'm just gonna try to remember what I'm supposed to talk about. I'm pretty sure it's the Toyota Prius plug-in hybrid. A no-compromise approach to electric vehicles that offers the best of both worlds. You can drive up to 72 kilometers on battery alone, enough to get you from downtown to the rink, the grocery store, and home to recharge. Seamlessly transition from electric mode to the gas engine for a combined range of 962 kilometers. There's no sacrifices when it comes to horsepower. Style with its sleek, low, and wide exterior and sophisticated interior. Oh, here we go. I'm rolling now. Loaded with tech that's actually easy to use. You can plug in to recharge at home or at one of the over 2,000 public charging stations in BC alone. Visit shoptoyota.ca or your local Pacific Toyota dealer today.
Wow, that was amazing. Jacob, hit the applaud button. Yeah, do we have an applaud button?
Yeah, we do. I just got to find it. I wasn't expecting to have to hit it here. There we go. Yeah, it more sense, but
that was flow state. I just found the actual email. Red tag days are happening from March through May, so go check that out. Local Pacific Toyota dealer, shoptoyota.ca. Happy to have Toyota back. Yeah, that was a flow state. That was literally just like I literally just activated the part of my brain where the Toyota ad read lives.
That's awesome. I could not do that.
Nailed it. All right. Let's talk about. I don't know where I want to go. Okay, I actually want to talk about Curtis Douglas. Surprise, surprise. Very limited ice time, but liked his game. Like, I'm not even doing a bit. Like, I'm not doing a bit. There was a couple where he was late to kind of move to where he needed to be, but I liked his physicality. I liked how he snapped the puck a few times, and he just looked super engaged, man. He looked super engaged, and the word is Evander Kane's out with some upper body injury. Didn't take warm up last night. And I know we talked about this pre-deadline, and I don't want to just turn this into like a why is Evander Kane here thing. I don't want it to become that. Because, like, again, I was one of the people that was like, I think he's going to be great as a Canuck. I don't think he's been great since arriving in Vancouver. They couldn't move him at the trade deadline, and now they have him here. And I don't know, like, in the grand scheme of things, am I really going to sit here and say you're going to really regret not playing Curtis Douglas over Evander Kane? Yeah, maybe. But, like, it's also, we're talking about Curtis Douglas. And I get that. Like, I get that the ceiling is relatively low, but I don't know. I really enjoyed watching Curtis Douglas last night. I did. And I'd like to see him get a longer look is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, he didn't look out of place, and that's always the most important part when you're acquiring players off waivers. I noticed that he's, for a 6'9" player, quicker than I expected once he picks up steam in a straight line, but the agility when he has to change directions is very, very slow. And I think that's where some of the limitations arise, especially because hockey isn't so much about how fast can you go in a straight line. There are so many stops and starts and situations where you're changing direction because there's been a change in possession or a pass to a different part of the ice. Your four-way agility matters, and I think that is still my biggest concern with Douglas. But you're right, he didn't look out of place, and even in Tampa, when you look at his underlying numbers, they were fine. Now, the Lightning are obviously a really good team. They control play well, excellent team environment. You're insulated there. He was extremely sheltered, so his minutes were extremely catered, and he had a ton of support around him. But his underlying numbers in those in that sample was actually pretty decent. Positive share of shots and scoring chances. So it goes to show that at least he's not a dramatic liability, which is the first hurdle you need to clear when you're claimed off waivers.
Yeah, exactly. Like, we're not talking about like Ryan Reeves, right? Like that's what people need to understand. We're not We're not just talking about sit on the bench, you can play 3 minutes. And that's the thing. Douglas spoke yesterday. I don't think we really touched on it, but Douglas spoke yesterday and talked about how he feels he has more to give, and he's eager to prove that while admitting that, yeah, he knows his role and he wants younger guys to feel safe out there. And he said, I know it's a younger skilled group, and I think it will be fun to get in there and mix it up a little bit and be there for the younger guys and not let other teams push us around at all. And then he keeps talking about his game, again, working on the forecheck and showing that he has more to give. So, yeah, man, I want to see more of Curtis Douglas is really what I'm getting at here. I want to see more of Curtis Douglas, and I look at the lineup and everybody who played last night, and there's no one that I'm really looking at. And like, I want Aatu Ratu to play. to play. Teddy Blueger's still here. He's not coming out of the lineup, okay? So I want Aatu Ratu to play. Teddy Blueger might be here next year. They're probably going to extend him. That's fine, whatever. You know, Max was just talking about culture. I've come around on the idea a little bit of like, okay, Philip Hronek's a guy we want to keep around to teach the defensemen, and Teddy Blueger's a guy we want around to help out the forward group as well. Brock Besser, whoever, right? Whoever you're putting in that conversation. I've come around a little bit on the importance of that, and I think the conversation with Max helped that. But my point being, Harm, I don't want to see guys that clearly aren't going to be here next year taking time away, even from a guy like Curtis Douglas, who maybe in the grand scheme of things isn't going to matter much. Like, maybe in a few years, we never mention Curtis Douglas' name.
Likely. Not even maybe. Likely.
Maybe. He's got
likely.
Size. Yeah, he's got size. But you get my point, right? Like, I don't want to see those minutes taken away for any player. I'm not singling anyone out. For any player that just clearly is be here next year.
There is a fine. I fully agree with everything you said, but there is a fine line where you're also in a position where you're going to need to entice veterans to play. And Kane, he's 9 games away from 1,000 in the NHL. So first of all, sorry, he has to put himself in a position where he can hit those 1,000 games. But even in general, if you're parking him in the press box, what does that do for Vancouver as a reputation if you're a veteran looking at potentially signing here? And this is where players talk to one another, and especially if you're an older veteran and you're considering taking a shorter term deal to come to Vancouver, you want to have some security that they aren't so cutthroat and ruthless that the second my play starts to slip, they're going to throw me in the press box for no-name guys off waivers, especially in the case of Kane. Say what you will, but about how poorly he's played this season. But for most of his career, Evander Kane has been an impactful top-line guy.
And I don't want to make this about Kane. I really don't want this to be about Kane, but it's obviously that's kind of who the conversation's becoming about. And I would say in response to that there's just a level of, okay, you're signing here as a free agent, but there's a standard. Like what Max said, it doesn't matter if you put up, like, I don't care if you're putting up 20 goals or you're 25, well, maybe 30 is a little high, but I don't care if you're putting up points, right? What I care about is like, is the effort there on a night-to-night basis? And we've talked a few times this season about how with this player specifically that we've seen him kind of turn it on, right? And the idea was, well, he's saving himself for the playoffs. And we understood that too. Like we said, like you're playing for your career. Well, guess what? Like now this stretch run here is going to be you playing for your next contract, because right now, like no one wanted you at the deadline. And again, this is becoming something more about Kane. And I really don't want it to be. I have no issue with Evander Kane. It's just that the thing that I'm trying to point out here is that if you're a veteran free agent, you're going to come into it with the knowledge of like, okay, as a rebuilding team, they're trying to set a standard. I'm going to have to keep up with that standard. And again, we're talking about effort. Like Tom Verlander came out in his comments about, oh, it's so nice when guys are trying. Like, I don't want to hear a young player have to say that. I want everybody to be trying every night.
Yeah, nothing to really add to that. That's fair.
All right. Anything else that you want to get to?
Not much. Is there stuff going on in anyone else?
Not really. Everybody's just very happy that we had Max on the show, myself included. Yeah. Okay. Here, let's say that. Walk in the chat. Does Kane get booed during his 1,000th game ceremony? No chance.
I don't think so.
No chance. No. And this is the thing, because I really don't want it to come across like I'm trying to hate on Evander Kane. I'm really not. Like that's not what I'm trying to say. In fact, like all my experiences and run-ins with Kane in the locker room and training camp, all that sort of stuff, they've all been pleasant. Like I have nothing against Evander Kane. Let me be clear about that. No, he's not going to get booed during his 1,000th game ceremony. And again, it's like you said, like he's had a long career. He's not everybody gets to 1,000 games. It's under 500, the number of people who have gotten to that. And that's a big accomplishment. And also, if the question is, should they keep him in the press box until, so they Mike Modano him and he doesn't get to 1,000? No chance. No, you can't do that. You can't do that, because that's legitimately stuff that gets talked about, with UFAs and everything. Like that's you can't do that. You can't be doing that. That would be a mistake for the Canucks. It would be.
Now, with his current injury situation, though, and obviously they said he missed games with illness, like I don't think the Canucks would ever intentionally keep him out, but there's a possibility he just doesn't get there anyways, right?
I hope that doesn't happen.
If he's not healthy and he gets to like 998, 999, and if Quads' prediction of this is his last NHL team is correct, he might end up with 998 or 999. So hopefully that's not the case.
I'd have to think that Kane's done the math in his head.
He'd just play hurt and just do it.
Yeah.
I mean, he's got no playoffs to worry about, right? Like it might have been different if he'd gotten traded to a playoff contender and he didn't want to force himself to play 2 games at the end of the season. But yeah, I think you're right, Harm. He probably knows and just will gladly suit up for 8 minutes on a 4th line just to get there.
And I hope he hits it. Like I hope he hits it. I don't know. I came across as very anti-Kane today. I didn't want to. 2 Wolf Brothers in the chat said Quad's making sure, like pointing out that I was making sure that I'm not hating on Evander Kane because I save all my hate for Yaroslav Askarov. How's he doing these days?
It's not good. You're gonna win that bet.
Damn. We made a couple about him too because you were so excited about him.
It's not even that I was so excited about him. I was so excited to grind your gears into, like, I knew how sensitive you were about it when you got off to that hot start. And it was just so fun to bring up his statistics and, oh, look at what the hockey world is saying about Askarov right now.
And when we had those discussions, I remember checking the league average save percentage. It's gone up since then, but it's still only 896. So we are on pace for the first NHL season since 1996 for a sub 900 league average save percentage. Crazy.
I'm here for it. I love offense.
Okay. Adam Voth in the chat with a $10 super chat. We appreciate that. He said, would you and Harm be willing to reach or potentially reach for the Ruck brothers with the 2nd first and the 1st second round pick? I don't know where those guys are slotted, but I want to. Yeah, I'm fine with it. Like,
no,
come on, Harm. Give me the Twins.
Marcus is projected to be, and this is the issue with them, right? Marcus is projected like 20, 30 slots later.
So that makes it work.
Why are you going to reach then for them?
Well, I guess you don't need to reach.
For me, the Canucks, as much as I get the sentiment, the local guys, Heaven Brothers, the marketing ploy, I get it. But with where the Canucks are at in their rebuild, draft the best players possible. I don't want them to be chasing a gimmick.
Yeah, that's fair. Well, they drafted Elias Pettersson, and that worked out, right?
Yeah, but they didn't draft him because his name was Elias Pettersson. They drafted him because he was a good prospect, and it was just a coincidence that he had the same name as their Swedish center.
We're gonna have Dave on the show at some point. I'm gonna hopefully have Stephen Ellis on the show at some point too. Someone needs to explain to me why Marcus Ruck is rated so much lower than his brother, and everybody's like, "Oh yeah, this Liam Ruck, the guy with 94 points in 63 games, he's miles better than his twin brother, who also has 94 points in 63 games."
My bad.
Jacob, did you say something?
Yeah, sorry, I made a mistake. Continue.
But yeah, I don't understand why these guys are why everybody views them so differently. They have the exact same number of points. What are we talking about?
I haven't watched them closely enough to know, but it's
well, neither have
industry-wide consensus. And I think part of it is just the shot, right? Like Marcus is more of the pass first guy, and when you combine subpar skating with the poor shot, some questions about how that would translate at the pro level.
All right, but he's playing with his twin brother,
especially if you have a feeling that as a setup guy, your success might be a little bit more dependent on chemistry with your line mate than the scorer.
Now, okay, so Adam Voth, who had the super chat, followed up saying Liam is high second, low first. Marcus is 40 to 60 range. I don't think Marcus is 40 to 60 range. Like I'm looking, he's probably closer to 60 to 70 range. But I mean, some might have like. I think it's a gimmick if you make trades in order to draft them like next to each other, like you did with the Sedins. If you draft Liam, let's say with the Minnesota pick, and especially if that pick falls, like if Minnesota goes to like the West Final and that's picks 29th overall, and you take Liam Ruck at 29th because he's available, that's probably where he's going to end up going. And then if you've got a bunch of second and third round picks, like if Marcus Ruck happens to be available at a reasonable time and you draft him, then I think that's perfectly fine. But if you're going to make trades or you're going to reach on one brother to get the other brother, I think that's where you run into issues.
Fully agree. And remember, the original question was the Minnesota pick and then the early.
And it was, would you reach?
Yeah,
was the actual...
I'm not reaching. If it naturally ends up falling that way, sure. No problem with it. But if you're reaching, I don't like that idea.
I do also love, because anytime a player gets their skating gets brought up, everybody goes, who cares? Remember Bo Horvat? Bo Horvat will forever be the name cited when we bring up a player is not a great skater. They say, well, remember Bo Horvat wasn't a good skater and he got a skating coach and he figured it out. He will always be brought up in this market as the who cares about a lack of skating ability.
Well, there are differences too, because Bo had like there were mechanical parts of his skating that just needed to be optimized. It wasn't for a lack of power.
Yeah.
Whereas for Brendan Gaunce, Atu Ratu, I mean, we could keep going with examples of players who were poor skaters that didn't really take the next step with their skating. Those limitations, the skating coach can't just fix as easily.
Yeah.
For every Bo Horvat, there are 9 that were projected as poor skaters and remain poor skaters.
I am Don B. This is some revisionist history. He said Petey was a great skater and went the other way. Petey was never a great skater. Like, let's not. I mean, hey, he's gotten slower. Don't get me wrong, but when he was drafted, nobody was saying what a great skater this Elias Pettersson guy is. That was not the case with Elias Pettersson. It just wasn't.
His stride has always been kind of ugly, but he was quick. No one was talking about his skating as a strength per se, but when he broke into the league, it was all right. This guy's quick, even if his stride isn't the most aesthetic.
Yeah. All right. Anything else you want to get to before we close out? Oh, Tankathon, Jacob.
We do have Tankathon, yes.
How are we doing on feud surveys? Do you need more?
Probably, but it's still early. It's only Tuesday.
Okay.
If
Fill out the
if
family feud survey.
yeah, definitely we'll give the reminder. It's in the description. But yeah, we'll push it harder tomorrow if need be. All right, it's time for Tankathon once again. I feel like we need some music. We got to like play this up a little bit, try and change the juju around it. But
Disagree.
Canucks got second overall in our simulation yesterday. That was only this. I think that was the second time we got number 2. We've got number 1 once. Every other time has been a drop to 3. All right, let's see what we got when we sim the lottery here on this snowy Tuesday afternoon.
Wow.
The Los Angeles Kings have now won more lottery simulations for us than the Vancouver Canucks have, despite their 3% odds.
And Chicago number 2.
Chicago number 2. Yeah.
This is so much fun. Okay, you know what?
It's worth it for the data. I'm so interested to have the numbers at the end.
Exactly. And Quads, we talked about it. We're hoping to get this draft lottery watch along at Greta. I think, wouldn't it be great to have like the data, being able to go over it and say how, because Canucks Convo got absolutely railed in the lottery sims, that, you know, that just means the hockey gods are going to look more favorably on the real thing. We can cope like that. We're allowed to do that.
We're reverse jinxing it.
You know I love a good cope, but I don't like this Tankathon thing. I'm gonna get Bert. Actually, I'm gonna call him in here. I'm just gonna call him because my idea, if I get Bert, come here. If I get Bert to, chase a ball, put a logo on each ball, that's scientific. Or like, lay down a bunch of treats and tell him to pick one. And I make the Canucks one the biggest treat.
It's like it's like the corgi that headbutts the ball into the basket to predict playoff series.
Yes.
And I think that dog is like at 60-something%, just by chance happens to be better than a coin flip.
Also, Bird ain't coming. That dude is sleeping on the bed. I know he's gonna be. I'm gonna walk into my bedroom and he'll be sleeping on my
You're
pillow.
gonna have to pay him to get involved.
Yeah, he's got a high rate too. All right. Max Lapierre joined the show today. That was so much fun. Let's get to our Bet 365 bet of the day as we get ready to close it out. Whoa. The St. Louis Blues, absolute wagon these days. They are at home to the New York Islanders, and they are the underdogs at plus 105. You can get St. Louis Blues money line over at Bet365. Whatever your bet is, it's never ordinary at Bet365. Download the app and get on the game. Use the code NATION at Bet365. Must be 19 plus to play. If you choose to play, please play responsibly. Go Blues. Go
Well,
Blues,
it's like I can't wait until you're doing baseball bets again. I'm so tired of like, oh yeah, we're betting on the St. Louis Blues money line. It's just
I could do some baseball.
We're not betting on spring training.
I actually don't. Well, I was going to do World Baseball Classic, but I could do spring training if that's what you want.
No.
I don't want to actually talk baseball right now because I'm still very worked up about Cal Raleigh and Randy Rosarena last night. Did you see that, Harm?
Drama brewing.
No, I didn't see. Like I saw the game. I had it on the background. Saw
Lucky you.
US won, but I didn't see that dust up or whatever you're referencing.
So Cal Raleigh's the catcher for Team USA.
Yeah.
Randy Rosarena plays for Team Mexico. And Randy comes up to the box, like steps into the box for first at bat of the game. He extends his hand to shake Cal's hand, and Cal like shakes him off and says something to him and doesn't shake his hand. And then after the game, Randy's speaking in Spanish, a few languages actually, and he was very, very vulgar in what he was saying. And he was basically, he told Cal to shove it up his you-know-what at the end. It was not good. It was not good. And like people that were, Spanish-speaking people that were reacting to it, like Mariners fans, were like, he wasn't joking. And I was like, reading those quotes, it's like, oh, maybe he was joking. Maybe he's laughing. No. And really, there's no language barrier. Tone transcends all languages.
That's such a dumb thing to
I agree.
end up fighting about. Just shake the guy's hand.
I know.
So it's interesting because like you see it way more so in international events. Like American baseball is like Canadian hockey, right? Which is like, you do things the right way, and we're proud and we're respectful, and we appreciate the traditions. Whereas a lot of the Latin players, and like Mexico to an extent, but definitely when you start looking at Puerto Rico, the Dominican Republic, Venezuela, they're all about like baseball should be the most fun sport on planet Earth, and you should celebrate, and you should jump around, and you should be crazy, and fans should be wild. Japan in a very different way, obviously, because that culture is very regimented, but the way that they cheer for baseball is kind of takes more after the Latin players. So you see this US team where everything again is very like buttoned up and traditional, and then you've got the Latin teams who are, even though they're taking the tournament seriously, are trying to have more fun with it. And yeah, those clashed with two teammates. Tough times for Mariners fans as they had to watch that.
Hurt. It was a bad day to have eyeballs.
Yeah.
What was I gonna say?
Hopefully it's just one of those. I don't know if you remember this, but I was actually watching a Netflix documentary series on this. The U.S. played Spain at one of the Olympics. It was Kobe versus Pau Gasol. Have you seen the clip where one of the first plays of the game, Kobe just barrels right through Pau, and even though they were teammates, hopefully it's one of those situations where you kind of get over it quickly, when, as Kobe and Pau obviously did when they went back to the Lakers.
Yeah, I hope so.
I think so. And Harm, before the tournament, we kind of made the comparison where like the WBC is kind of trending towards what we saw from the Four Nations. And, this kind of is right up there with that, right? Like it's not like we didn't see anything like that between teammates at the Four Nations, but you very well could have. Like, just if it happened where you had two NHL teammates that like got into a fight or nearly got into a fight at Four Nations, I don't think it would have surprised anybody based on how that tournament went. And so, yeah, quads, I don't think you have anything to worry about.
Is Canada basically out?
No, they can still go through. They have to.
It's tough.
Well, they have to beat one of Puerto Rico or Cuba, and they can't lose the other game by a lot. So if they get a win and like a 1 or 2 run or 3 run loss, they should go through on run differential. If they win both, they win the group. But I don't think they're winning both. They're probably going to lose to Puerto Rico here tonight, and then they're going to have a big win against Cuba tomorrow.
You know who's got it right? I don't want to see handshakes. You know who's got it right? Shohei. Shohei does the hat tip. That's what you should do. Hat tip. Just sign of respect.
Yeah, that's
I don't
cool.
I don't need to touch you. I'm not touching you. Hat tip. There we go.
Yep. Fair enough. I'm not going to argue with that.
So tip of the hat to all of our listeners for tuning in to today's show.
Don't try shaking Quads' hand.
Don't touch me. Do not touch me. Not a big toucher. Don't touch me. All right. Our thanks again to Max Lapierre for joining the show. We appreciate it. We'll be back tomorrow. We'll see what tomorrow's show looks like. I don't know. Can we just play Family Feud early, Jacob?
If we get enough responses, we can play Feud early. So if you're in the chat right now, send that off to your friends. Say, hey, take 2 minutes to fill this survey out. They need to get to 100 responses tonight. If we have 100 responses, I will set us up to play Feud tomorrow.
Okay, because Dave can't join us tomorrow. I want to get Dave on the show soon. Anyway, we'll see. Yeah. All right. We'll close it out there. For my co-host, Harmon Dial, and our technical producer, Jacob Lazar, my name is Dave Gudelli. Thanks so much for episode of Canucks Conversation. Canucks Conversation is live Monday through Friday, every weekday at 2 p.m. over on the Canucks Army YouTube channel. Make sure you like, subscribe, and interact in the YouTube live chat every day with us, folks.